Welcome, everybody, to the FARR and Beyond podcast. I'm your host. I just want to make sure the mics were turned on. I just had that momentary, oh, my God, are the lights on?
Let me Getty Lee this thing.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to the FARR and Beyond podcast. I'm Scott.
Micah.
And we are the ones who are far and beyond. Trust me. We've been told many times. We are out there. This show is brought to you by, of course, FARR, Florida. Go ahead.
See, it's
Florida
Association of Recovery Residences.
Right. It's the ass part, the association part that I keep missing.
That's right.
Florida Association of Recovery Residences is all brought to you by one brother, one sister, and we're coming to you from the Silver Lake Studios.
Here we are.
That's everything.
Surrounded by the denizens of rock and roll.
That's right. We've got the rock and roll hot stuff behind us, and these are my paintings. But we want to remind you before we start, like this show, share it, and subscribe to the channel, please.
Doesn't it smash the like button? That's what all the kids say.
It's what the kids are saying?
It's what the kids say. Smash that like button.
Well, I think that's neato.
Be careful. I'm at an age you'll throw a rod doing that. You know, smash anything at this point.
Do you even try to keep up anymore?
No.
How old are you? You're in your what?
I'll be 51.
All right, so you're in your 50s, and I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
I don't even try anymore.
No.
I tried. I thought I finally caught up, and I said one time to my daughter, I said, "That's so Gucci," and she's like, "Dad, that was like last week." And I was like, "You change weekly now?"
Yeah.
I'm like.
Everything. I just live a retro life. Everything it's just that's the secret is that I just knew I stopped being cool and knew it long ago. I still love cool, which made me cool again because I stopped trying to be cool.
That's right. I'm retro. I like cool, groovy.
Yeah,
those are the kind of things I like.
Man.
You know,
it's rad.
Can you dig it, man?
Rad.
And I was never the rad guy.
I love rad. It's rad, man.
I was never the rad guy.
All right. Not Wawa coffee in this cup, but
we're jonesing on coffee here.
There we are.
Jonesing. There we go. All right. So anyway, a lot going on. We are in the back end of August now.
That means so recovery month.
You're probably watching this right at the beginning of September, actually.
Yeah.
So we're in recovery month, and there's a lot going on. Let's tell them quickly about what's going on, and we'll remind them again at the end of the show.
I'll do what's swinging up in Palm Beach County because there's a lot. Let me go through my list here. I'm going to the technology here. We'll go to the technology teleprompter. So first of all, if you're seeing this the 1st of September, you missed it. But August 31st, International Overdose Awareness Day, and at the Hub in Lake Worth on 1120 Lucerne Avenue. 3:30, we're going to have a remembrance program. Have some speakers about 3:30. Then we're going to have a vigil at 4:30. That's a very important day. Events happening all over the place. I'm just plugging that one because that's one I'll actually be at. I'll be hosting that with our incredible team at the Hub, Palm Beach County, at our Recovery Community Center there in Lake Worth. That's on International Overdose Awareness Day. I'll let Scott go on some of the other things here in a second. But we also have some symposiums happening that month. We have a schedule coming out. If you go to pbchub.org, also be distributed through all of our partners. We'll have a list of a number of community-based events in our Community Recovery Initiative program. We had 23, I think was the final tally of community-based programs, all applied for funding to do events during Recovery Month. So there'll be a list of all those happenings that are going on, a big, nice tour poster. We'll be talking about tours in a second. And on the 12th, we will be having there will be an event coming up, which is the make sure I get it right. Oh, that's the last. I'm going to save the biggest for last. This is actually something really important that people forget. We're in the opioid epidemic, but people forget about the what kicked a lot of these things off was the crack epidemic. Right?
Yeah.
And if you look at a lot of our neighborhoods and communities that were affected by that, they still are. So we're actually doing a piece on that, reversing the effects of the crack epidemic and treating the illness and not the war on drugs, which is a really important symposium that's going on. It's a moderated panel, 5:30 to 8 o'clock, September 12th at DAF, Drug Abuse Foundation in Delray. That's going to be incredible. And then I just told you about the initiatives, and the big piece coming up is the 6th annual National Recovery month conference. And this year it is a change. We're not facing the crisis anymore. Our focus now is on recovery and resilience. And that is an all-day conference we go east to west, west to east every year. It's flipped back and forth. So it is in Wellington again this year at the Wellington Town Hall, right there on the little lake. And that is on the 25th. Please sign up. And that is 9 a.m. is the sign up. 9:30 we start, and 9 to 3 o'clock p.m. is the conference. Wellington Community Center, 12150 Forest Hill Boulevard, Wellington, Florida. And that is where you hear all about what's going on, what the past year has brought. We'll celebrate all those Recovery Month initiatives, and you'll may or may not see me up on stage saying a few things here and there, maybe making the group laugh, cry.
If there's a microphone, Micah will be on it.
I'll be
all right,
it.
that's just the way. And if there's
I have my
not,
own.
he brings
I
his
bring
own
my own.
everywhere he goes.
I have my own. I just wander around with it. I recommend it highly to everybody. Have your own PA system.
That's right.
People will think you're doing something. Make it happen. No, come on out. It's an incredible month.
Yeah.
That's just a tip of the iceberg. I know our friends at Rebel Recovery. This Friday, there's an event out at their facility in Belglade that they are doing that. Also, at the end of this month, we will be the opening of our 2 new recovery community centers in Palm Beach County, both in Riviera Beach and Belglade. We'll have more on that in our next podcast, but they are literally extreme home makeovering right now, and so they're building those things out as we get ready to open and welcome 2 new recovery community centers to Palm Beach County.
Absolutely. And as long as we're talking about the events, this is one of the biggest. This is Saturday, September 14th. This is Brevard County Recovery Fest. And, you could be listening to us from Brevard. If you're in Broward, listen, it's worth an hour and a half drive up there to 2 hours,
awesome,
whatever it might be.
Space Coast.
Yeah. It's going to be in Wickham Park. That's in Melbourne, Florida. It's Saturday, September 14th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's not even a full day. You can drive up early in the morning, go up there, enjoy the day, get back at a decent hour. Food, music, family fun, inflatables, like fun zone stuff, face painting, giveaways, vendor sponsors, and that's all the stuff's just going to be happening in the backseat of my car.
Right.
So
That's what Scott brings. I have a microphone. He's got inflatables.
Well, yeah, well, but this is a really good thing. If you want to know more information, brevardrecoveryfest.org. You can make contributions, donations, and stuff, all tax deductible. But brevardrecoveryfest.org. Check it out. Saturday, September 14th. This is one of the largest outdoor events.
They've really,
we have down here.
and I'll tell you what they have done over the years. Hopefully I can make it. There's a lot going on that month, so I'm all over the state.
I'm DJing the night before, then I'm going out of town, but I want to try to make it too. But it's one of the big events.
But I'll think it's a good, decent time. Like, it's not. It's like chunk of the day, but you could get something on the front end and the back end of it. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But if you do go up there, I mean, it's an incredible thing too. We have such great partners up there, especially in recovery community centers, our friends in housing, certified houses. I mean, it's starting to really do have done and continue to do amazing work in Brevard County in that area. Melbourne is really taking off. So please go check that out. And it is great. But what a cool spot. People forget there's some classic Florida up there. Melbourne's got a great little downtown, great beaches, great surf shops. My
kind of the old style.
Yeah. You're only like 20 minutes to Cocoa Beach. Run up, see if they're launching a rocket that day. Seems like they're doing it every other day. And go to Ron John's, go to Longboard House, go, make it happen. Get some good food. Get a taco.
It's worth the trip. Excuse me. It's worth going.
Get a taco.
And we figured out because we just had our FARR picnic a few
barbecue.
Months ago. It was a planned event, but it was also the first time, so there's a little bit of haywire and oh my god, and what is it? Are people going to show up? And it was I believe the temperature was boiling point.
Yeah, it was Venus.
I think it was
Venus hot.
Yeah, Venus hot.
Wasn't quite sun hot, but Venus hot.
And people still came out. It was a great time. Yep. And and sometimes just a matter of just open up your hearts, open up some space. Serve a couple of hot dogs and
have some tunes, throw some cheese balls at some heads,
tea, and you can have a great time. And watching people interact at those things, right? Wasn't that the miracle?
That was the best part.
The way that people interacted.
You're talking folks with 5 days of recovery and folks with 50 years of recovery, all in different perspectives, but all there for the same reason.
See, now, if we were doing this show up north where I'm from, where are you from originally?
Maine.
Yeah. Okay, so you're with me on this.
Oh, yeah.
If we were doing this show up north, we'd say we're running out of time in the season for picnics.
That's right.
But being in August, we're saying we're about a month from picnic season.
That's picnic weather.
Picnic season is wintertime here.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the barbecue next year, not going to be in the end of May.
No.
It was awesome. We love all of you. But we're going to try to go from Venus hot to like a Carolina hot.
Yeah. Carolina Reapers hot. So check those out. We're going to remind you at the end of the show one more time about these events. If you want to know anything more about it, certainly, again, you can go to FARR. What's the
FARRonline.org.
Yes, they've got information about these events. You can reach out to us at One Brother, One Sister, or you can simply type a question into the space, the comment sections here on the show.
We will
read them, and we will get back to you. But that's what we're talking about. We were talking before. Now, one of the things, having fun is so important.
Yes.
And these events aren't just about getting people together and it's like, oh, recovery. It's about kindness and happiness and joy. And it's almost like,
that is recovery, right?
Yeah, it is. That's what recovery should be. And God knows in the climate of our country right now, we need more fun.
Yes.
We need more fun. We've got the politics the last 8 years has just been so insane. It has turned into, I'm not going to tell you how good I am. I'm going to tell you how bad they are.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody's doing.
Or how good we all are.
I'm voting for him. Why? Because she is this. And I'm voting for her because he is that. Stop. It used to be people would just talk about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. We're beating each other up. We got friend turning on friend. We got all this stuff. And that's just politics, let alone all the other stressors we have going on.
Inflation,
money, fentanyl crisis, all of these things happening, people dying.
If you look at right now, and we were having a conversation today at the Recovery Awareness Partnership call this morning, time lapsed. You'll have another one before our next conversation here. But looking at, there's two things to look at that. One, how we think about it, how we manage it. It's not going away. And I don't mean to bum anybody out. But we are in that arms race. It is a chemical arms race. But we have to learn how we help each other differently.
Yes.
Because it's not what it used to be. And it's interesting that symposium and panel coming up on the crack epidemic, because that was a whole sea change shift in that environment as well. So it's like you think, it's like we've been here before. Different now, not to belittle that at all. That was devastating.
No,
it literally gutted cities, much like this is doing. We have to learn from that and get perspective on that, and again, get to the root causes of why. Why are these things so prevalent? Why are they so sought after? Right?
I think there's not one answer. Obviously,
never.
Obviously, so when we say why, we're looking for contributors.
Yes.
And we could try to lessen those stresses of everyday life, untreated mental illness, or
that's a huge part.
Mental distress, not even mental illness as much as mental distress, where people don't know how to deal with their depression or their anxiety anymore. Isolation has replaced reaching out to other people.
Well, the opposite of addiction, right? Connection. It's not even recovery. It's connection.
So, and we are the number one country for pill popping.
We love popping pills.
Give
us a pill for it.
I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. America has 5% of the world's population lives in America. Only 5%.
Right.
Of the whole population of the world lives in America. But America uses 80% of the world's supply of painkillers.
Of pharmaceuticals.
Yes. I mean, 5% of the world is using 80% of the drugs.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah.
From the time we're born, we're taught to pop a pill. You can't think, pop a pill. You can't sleep, pop a pill. You can't wake up, pop a pill. You get the sniffles, pop a pill. You have a headache, pop a pill. Everything is pop a pill, pop a pill. So when somebody comes along and says, here, take this, it'll make you feel wonderful.
Right.
We're trained from birth to take it.
Yes.
Because you pop a pill to exist. And other countries, we don't even let ourselves have a runny nose so our bodies can expel toxins.
Yeah.
We want to dry it up and keep it all inside of us. No wonder we stay sick. Do
And
you
we
know when
don't.
the flu season is? When it is?
All season?
The flu season is like between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, technically.
Because that's when we are the least active,
Yes.
and we eat the most food.
Correct.
And we just, our immune systems just crash. And that's why we get sick during that period of time. If you ate healthier and you exercised more, we wouldn't have a flu season like that.
It's the secret of like, it's not like extreme one way or the other. It's like,
It's not.
make a few more good choices than less good choices.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't it? Everybody's like, oh, I can't change my whole life. It's like, but you know what? You can get up in the morning and take a walk.
Right.
You can decide, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of water instead of a beer. The truth is everything.
I'm going to eat 3, not 6 cookies.
Choice.
Yes.
You go out and you play with you got your bass guitar. You go out and you play with people.
Yeah.
You don't play the whole song with one stroke. You
play
sometimes
note,
one at a time.
Well,
sometimes you do because
the
the
skills diminish.
We get into the death metal. It's just lots of noise. No, but it's all one note at a time.
Yeah.
It's all I got to do is hit the next note.
Work through it.
The next one will take care of itself.
That's right.
And I think we forget that. We get overwhelmed and we say, I can't change. If I can't change everything, I'm not changing anything.
And there it is. That's
right?
what people get into. And it's like, you guys do one small change, one little one,
Yeah.
And guess what? If you want to make any changes, just go to YouTube. There's a video to help you do that. I guarantee it. Whatever you want to change, a light bulb, a tire, your attitude, the weather, you're going to find some way to do that.
You got a kid?
I have 2.
2. How old?
2 amazing. 2 and 6.
2 and 6.
They're amazing.
Have you applied for their colleges now? Have they sent in their applications for college?
No, but I'm paying for it already.
Well, that's why? Because it's not time for that.
No.
You know what it's time for? Reading them a bedtime story. It's
Yes.
time for spending time with them and rolling on the floor. It's time for that. Those are the things that we need to pay attention to, that what we have in front of us, what we can do right now.
Right.
It's not going to cure the world of addictions. It's not going to cure the world of mental health issues. It's not going to cure the world of bad feelings, but it's going to make a major change if everybody would simply just relax and do what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And stop trying to fix everything all at once, or just because one thing's broken, don't throw everything away.
That's exactly right. I mean, any given day, I'll speak for myself. It's like 15 crises I'm looking at. Okay, well, there it is. I have an old saying. I'm an old goalie. Maybe took one too many to the head. Who knows? Explains a lot. But
then they started wearing helmets.
That's right. The old adage was keep the puck in front of you. Keep the puck in front of you.
Yeah.
As long as you got the puck in front of you, it ain't behind you, and you're in good shape. Keep your eye on that thing. So, like
if
anything
you're
else,
looking up at the scoreboard, the puck flies past you.
it does go past, or unless
Don't
you're
look up at
ducking,
the
please
scoreboard.
don't hit me with that thing. But the other part of that is, it's just that metaphor of just, you can control what you control in front of you, right? And if you can see it and you can identify it, don't be afraid of it. It's just a thing. You got, what are you looking at in front of you? Sometimes we forget. We let all of it overwhelm us. And that, I think, I was going to say this when we talk about, especially the opioid crisis, right?
Yeah.
And why opioids and why is this and why THC and this and that? Well, when you do like a high dosage THC, this is not about getting high anymore. When you're doing heavy duty opiates, it's not about getting high at all. It's hitting receptors in your body, right? It's hitting those cannabinoid receptors, hitting those opioid receptors. And it is taking away, it's masking pain, it's masking things. And it's, as I like to say, the opioid crisis is an analgesic solution to an existential problem.
Right.
So it's not like these things took off with, ow, I hurt my elbow and ow, I hurt my back. Of course, there's pain, but those types of painkillers weren't just taking away the swelling that was causing pain. It's not alleviating pressure. It's taking away the receptors. So you're not feeling, because you're not feeling your back, but you're not feeling any pain. Right? You're losing that existential pain. And so my gosh, why aren't people, why wouldn't you run to that if you're feeling a certain way?
And the problem is that you got to go a little bit past that then, though,
Mm-hmm.
because this is, if I got a toothache, that when I get that shot of Novocaine, all of a sudden, guess what? I'm not feeling the toothache anymore.
Right.
No, I can say, just give me a huge dose of Novocaine and I'll just go. But I have done nothing but mask the pain, but they did not solve the problem.
That's right.
I am leaving those pain receptors wide open.
That's right.
so that once the Novocaine wears off, those things are going to be wide. I'll hurt more than I did before.
Yeah. You're healing then.
And not to mention the fact that now that I'm numb, I might do more damage because I don't feel it. Pain is a way of your body saying, don't
it's
do
your
that.
warning system. It's a hot stove thing, right? Ow, hot, bad.
So now I've just, because I didn't feel any pain, I got the Novocaine, but I didn't get any work done. I didn't fix anything. I just masked it. Now I broke the tooth. The nerve is exposed, and I bit a hole in my cheek.
Right.
All in one.
I didn't feel it.
But you know what? Oh, I escaped my pain. You did not escape anything.
No.
It's all there. And when it comes around the second time, it's going to be worse.
And it's like, well, then give me something stronger.
More to cover the worst stuff. Then you use more to cover and until it gets to the point where you just kind of disappear.
Yeah. I have become comfortably numb. Apropos.
Pink Floyd, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I'm not sure where we got off on this tangent, but
do we ever know?
No.
In the comments, tell us where we went off the rails.
Yeah, where did we go off the rails?
Because we go off the rails all the time.
Did something shiny go through the room? Because we were heading into a direction.
Someone threw a coin.
Something happened. Yeah. But I'll tell you this: the point of all of this is there's little changes that you can make that'll put you in the right direction. But there is not one answer that does everything for anybody, and there certainly is not a universal answer that works for everybody.
No, and there is no magic pill.
There never will be. No. Stop looking for it.
Yeah.
Stop. Everybody's looking for the panacea. That's why we end up doing drugs, because we want the one thing that'll take away everything. It doesn't work. And
we want the drug to cure us from the other drug.
Yeah.
I need this drug to get me off this drug. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for these things to work together to get people off and to a better part in their life. But that being said, the idea that that's the answer, well, we know that's silly.
It's got to be accompanied by change. It's got to be accompanied by some sort of redirection of your life.
Support, behavioral supports, therapeutic supports, connection, relationships, that whole thing. We call that recovery-oriented system of care. Surround that individual with assets and, we call it recovery capital, which is what you take to invest in yourself to see the result of your own recovery, right? How are you resilient? How are you working together with people? How are you addressing your other issues and changes effectively and positively? Those take no drugs.
And one of the assets that you and I have both found in our lives, and we don't have the same problems. I mean, other than just the fact that we
look at us.
We're humans, and we decided to have marriages and children, which binds us together as men who are lost in this world to begin with. But one of the things we found for a place of solace, instead of in a pill or in a bottle or in a needle, was in music. And it is absolutely, I'll tell you what, if we had to look for the one universal elixir, I think music would be it, because there's not a religion or there's not a cross section of people anywhere in this world that don't have music somewhere in their society.
It is in your DNA, and we have certain rhythms. We have certain things that are in every person, and they're connected. I mean, it's tones and all those things. They're part of who we are, how we are. It's part of the universal fabric. There's a tone to the universe. I'm not trying to get all weird metaphysical here, but these are real things. And so we are.
Don't get them started on vibrations.
Yes. But we're all wired for it, right? And I do music groups, and I talk to people about music, and I always say, look, there's three constants in the world: love, food, and music. Right.
There we go.
And generally, when I do a group, everybody's already had dinner, so they've got.
I'll put them all together in one quote for you from Shakespeare. If music be the food of love, play on.
How did I not know that? Or not remember that? There it is.
Remember that though? You don't remember that?
That is. Yeah.
I think that was
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes, that's correct. That's great. If music be the food of love, play on.
That is.
Yeah, I got all three of your stuff.
All right, and we're done now. Good night, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Coffee. Remember, drugs bad, coffee good.
Yes.
Okay. No, but music is it's always been something I've been able to turn to.
100%.
Even while I was in my addiction, though, it still played an important part of my life. I was still, and certainly in recovery, it's been huge. Whether I play guitar and I sing and do things like that, but it's not even it. It's about just finding different songs and really getting involved in feeling the music and all of that stuff.
I love where it came from. What about that music?
Yeah.
How's it? Call it geekdom or whatever you want, but and people always they're like, how do you know about? I was like, because I love this stuff. Right? Yeah. It's like I want to know about it.
How do you read about it? You got singer-songwriter podcasts and shows all the time.
Well, now you got all the information at tips of your fingers, but it used to be you'd have to go dig. You'd have to dig books and find this and find the elusive book about this band and this article, but you wanted to know because you want to know where it came from.
Well, I had to figure out the chords to a song.
Oh yeah.
I have the 8-track 8-track. I'm really aging myself. I play a little bit, stop it, and then I just
try to figure it out. Let me get the root.
Oh, that was an E minor. Okay,
let me get the root note.
Yeah,
and then I'll go from there. Now it's like it's great. So I mean, your access, the one thing, and not just because we're old curmudgeons, but the one thing that's amazing about music now is the accessibility to either produce it and to consume it, because for the price of a CD. Not even the price of a CD, you have every song almost ever recorded at your fingertips. I mean, if you want to grab it for free, but I mean, if you want to pay, what used to spend, people, oh my God, I paid $12.99 for, Apple Music. It's like, you used to spend $70 a week to get 3 new CDs to fill in your car and stack them up, or buy records, or all the things I have collections of in various ways in crates because they take up a lot of volume, bag of cassettes, cases of CDs, boxes of vinyl. I
got a comic book collection up in Connecticut. I got to figure out a way to get it down here.
Oh, nice.
I got signatures from Stan Lee.
Oh, wow.
John Romita, Jack Kirby, the artist.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Signatures.
Well, good. That means you're good. So you thought you were worried about your retirement.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're not.
Yeah, they're not worth that much, but it's
that's just cool to have too.
But
Jack Kirby too?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got Jack Kirby when I was a kid.
Wow.
Signed on a Silver Surfer, Jack Kirby Silver Surfer book.
Nice. I love Silver Surfer. One of my favorites.
I loved it. It was so surreal. Captain America too. I've always loved Captain America. But you know what? I mean, it's like these things, these are cool things, but music has been the big constant.
Yeah.
And from trying to get the records and listening to the radio for your favorite song all freaking day.
And then it's like, God, DJ, even though I've DJed and you've DJed, it's like, shut up, you're talking over my song.
Yeah, don't talk over the song. They would always do this thing. They had this so many beats before
they lead into the riff,
and they would just talk into the song. I'm like, dude,
but they record the song for that reason. That's one of the lead-in. That was the lead-in.
Yeah,
and they don't have if you notice, songs don't lead-ins anymore.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about that experience, that connection. And one of the things that I've always been a live music guy. I play it, right? This stuff. But, and this was a shift. And I feel it now. And I haven't been to a lot of shows because I have kids and all that stuff. But I've probably been, 300 concerts or something. I have tons of concerts.
Right.
And that connection you make with a band, like in that space, and little venues, stadiums, giant festivals, I've done them all. There is something, it's either tribal, it's just it is something that just you connect to. And one of the things I was thinking about, we'll talk about some of our favorite live acts too, but the thing that disappoints me now is that when you see a show, no one's watching the show anymore. They're watching it through these stupid things.
Yeah.
It's like you got it here. It's going in these eye holes and these ear holes and to fill the brain with amazing thing. And you're like, you're going to waste the in the moment opportunity to watch a real crappy version of it later. Or she could say, dude, I was there. Who cares?
Take a quick picture, put the phone away, and be in the moment. I mean, when we were young, we didn't even have the option of that.
They weren't even allowed
in.
You
went and you just looked. Well, back then we'd try to sneak an 8mm camera in there.
I got a funny story about sneaking in a camera to a U2 concert. But I got caught by Adam Clayton himself.
Did you really?
And he grinned at me, and then their Brody, who kind of after you go to 75,000 of their shows, you get to know them too. It's like, okay.
And it's like
you got me.
Put the things down and experience it.
Yeah.
Experience it, because if you're not only half engaged, you're only getting half the experience.
But guess who else? And guess who else noticed that? The artists hate it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, and it's also like, when tickets now, you see your acts, it's not the fans that get to go anymore.
No, because they're getting bought up by,
And so artists, and I was always impressed with bands like U2 and bands like that would be like, look, we're selling the cheap seats are the front seats. You want to get in front, you're going to go on, you're going to be in the fan club. You're going to get your tickets, general admission. They're going to be the cheapest seats we sell, like $40-$45 a seat, which that's free in this day and age, right? And you're gonna do the queue up like the old school, wait and sit in line all night, whatever. But you're going to be in the front row of that show, and everybody else can pay for the luxury boxes and this and that and everything else. Because guess what? We're going to do this for the fans. If this is who got us here. That's who should be in the front. I was like, now that's the way to do things.
Yeah. Which band was doing that? They purposely would not sell, and they'd bring people from the back up front.
Oh, a lot of bands started doing that, but U2 was famous for
it. Was it the ones who started it?
Oh, they've always been kind of in that, because it was like a one tour they had. It didn't go that way because of the promoter, and they're like, nah, we're not doing this again. But it's like bands like my old one. I was old punk. I love punk music too, and Fugazi was one of my favorite punk bands. And for years, decades, it was $5 a show. $5 a show. Yeah. That's all they would do, and they'd play anywhere. Greatest act of all time, and $5.
Kiss does that at their concerts. If there's empty spaces anywhere, they'll go right to the back and they'll say,
grab people, come up.
Three. Any groups of three here, and if you were in a group of three, they bring up closer. They wouldn't charge you more.
No,
they just say if you fit the spot, because they wanted all the excitement right up there for the band and stuff. But
and it's a Kiss show. Yeah.
Which without concerts, just who is the most influential person in your life for music?
For music?
Yeah. I know that's a tough call.
That's a real tough call. There's so many.
I guess name one of the name ones.
Geez, that's really hard. I've been fortunate I was exposed to so much great music as a kid.
Yeah. Because you're family.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I gotta say, you gotta throw some of the big ones, but like influence like McCartney, Lennon. You gotta throw that out there.
The Beatles.
The Beatles, definitely. But like all the Motown stuff was huge on me. Stevie Wonder was a huge, and I got to see him in concert, which was blow your mind. Huge influence. A lot of the some of the Stax label guys, Otis Redding, huge vocalists. A lot of the blues stuff was a big influence. Zappa was a big influence.
Never was involved with Zappa.
Just pure, just unabashed creativity. The Beach Boys.
See, now that's the thing, and I was going to point out that a lot of times the music that influences us most is the music that we heard right around 10 to 11 to 12, 13 years old. Was normally your parents' music mixed in with a little bit of today's music.
I had teenagers around me, my whole neighborhood.
The ones that, my influences were Glenn Campbell and Harry Neeson and
great stuff.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. And of course the Beatles, but and Simon and Garfunkel were huge to me. That song, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, is like the anthem of my childhood. I could hear that song throughout. That one and the Harry Neeson song, Everybody's Talking at Me.
Everybody's talking.
My father would play that song on repeat as we drove from Wisconsin to New York. And as a child, I wanted to, I was in the back trying to find something I could puncture my eardrum.
Of course, at that time, you're probably thinking, Midnight Cowboy, and you were trying not to turn into Ratso Rizzo back.
But we were kids. They would put a mattress in it. We had a VW microbus.
Sure.
And my parents would be up front, and me and my two brothers would be in the back. And they put a mattress. They take the seats out, put a mattress in there, and just let us bounce around for the whole trip.
Well,
no seat belts, no child
bench seat.
We survived. They just throw sugar at us.
Bench seat. We never had a wagon until we was like in the middle. We got a Volvo wagon, which you could bang around in. But the bench seat in the back of the car, you turn it into basically a twin bed, because they'd stuff the luggage right. You'd put luggage between the seat and the front seats, and you'd throw like pillows onto it and a blanket, and boom, all of a sudden you have like so if you and your brother go and you're crashing out and doing your thing in the back seat and everything else.
Remember those trips, and Mom and my parents turning their music on.
I love that.
And as I was a kid, I was like, hey, put something new on, whatever it was. I want to hear Sean Cassidy or whatever it was at the time, right? Garbage. But now I appreciate all of that music, and I remember those times and those sounds. The soundtrack of my life is what I think about.
Sure,
it is like
exactly.
during that young time, and the stuff you heard at the beginning stays with you.
Stays with I remember my dad too, because my dad was a musician and great singer, and I sang as a kid and still could sing. But I remember this distinctly because we'd work harmonies. We'd hear songs, we'd work harmonies in the car. We'd sing together. Oh yeah, it was awesome. I'll never forget that. And he's like, oh, you guys, he's like, what was one of his favorite bands was The Association. Because if you go back and listen to The Association, great horn parts, he's a trumpet player, and crazy harmonies. They were known for their harmonies. And he's like, here comes a diminished ninth or something like that. He's like, don't you figure out this note? And you just hear these harmonies. And you're like, how did they even do that? Beatles were incredible. That's why I love the Beach Boys so much. And when you think Beach Boys now, it didn't take me long to get hip to the jive, but really you're talking about Brian Wilson.
Right.
And a few of the voices of his cousins and brothers, right?
And at the time, their recordings cost more
than
any other artist in history at that time.
At that time,
they were spending more on these recordings because they were so complicated.
Well, and it was when they look back at the 20th century, your great composers, Brian Wilson's going to be there, right? Frank Zappa's going to be there as a composer. And you listen to some crazy things they wrote. Those weren't just like a lot of the Beatles. God love them. They don't know how to read or write music. None of them. And not that they can't play it and figure it out and all that stuff.
That's how they would.
But they'd figure it out. And they could play. They don't know how to play. Billy Joel doesn't write music or notes. He doesn't play. But can write the greatest songs of all time. Brian Wilson orchestrated note for note. Wrote it, charted it, the whole 9 yards. Wow. He was a genius. Zappa, same thing. You see these crazy, and you're like, they're all just improvising on it. It's like, nope, and you better not miss a note or you're gone. Yeah. James Brown was an orchestrator and arranger, and all those things, those bands you hear, those tight bump, 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 those were all written out by him, arranged. And if you're in that band, you don't chuck a note, you're gone. I mean,
he was the machine. First one to start putting drums in the offbeat.
Yeah,
from the music.
He invented the breakbeat.
And and without him, you wouldn't have had people like Neil Peart and all these guys doing these great things on drums.
Yeah,
because he actually broke all the rules. Yeah. He broke all the rules and said, "It's almost like it's jolting your heart."
Yeah,
the way it's doing.
That's right,
and it makes you wake up. But all these bands. There's something almost hypnotic, and it takes you back.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful music. And if you don't experience music, I can't imagine somebody not actually liking music.
Well, and there's a lot of things too, because people, and I got to tell you, I'm usually a big fan.
I get to people who don't like music or people that only like country. I get that. Okay, so you don't like real music. No, I'm kidding.
Country's amazing. Great. Look, like in any genre, there's acts that, in my opinion, are better than others. Like even in hip hop and rap, there's a lot of hip hop and rap I love. And there's a lot of stuff I'm just like, it's not connecting to me.
Because it doesn't connect.
Yeah, I'm not. It connects to somebody, so obviously it's out there. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate any artist that puts it out. But I'm not. If it's not connecting to me, it's just not connecting. I'm not gonna not respect that it's out in the world. But
right,
but it's and again with like YouTube and everything else and Instagram and everything, you have a lot of artists who have a chance to get out there. We have a lot of artists that are here because of that access. There were no A&R men. They didn't have to go bang around for 2 years touring or cut a demo and hopefully get discovered. It was like, oh, I went viral. I had the right thing at the right time, or this artist saw me and made me go viral, and which is cool because it breaks and exposes new artists. But what isn't good is, in my opinion, is that a lot of artists don't get a chance to actually really develop.
Yeah.
It'll be a flavor of the month and then gone, and you're just left out in the cold.
Today, it's so much easier to be like, it came out and it came out like gangbusters, 2 or 3 songs, but then that was it. And it's because in the old days, like I wanted to listen to Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
I'd buy Rumors album because I liked one of the songs or 2 of the songs.
Then you get the deep tracks.
Now I'm listening to all the songs, and next thing you know, I'm listening to an album where 75% of the songs charted.
Yeah, that's right.
Unheard of.
That's unheard of.
That's unheard of. And that doesn't happen anymore today.
No. Well, they don't give
you don't buy a full album anymore.
No, and there's not enough time. Like it's on to the next thing. You don't either got to cut a new album or they're just, it used to be like albums would literally would warm up. Like, it's like, well, it didn't quite. Then all of a sudden something hits. Then you kind of get on the road. Then you kind of do this. And then boom, it'd explode. And you'd have an artist that, but when you talk about the one-hit wonders, a lot of the one-hit wonders had albums. They were around. They were known for that song, but they would have like a lot of, they'd have a body of work.
Yeah.
Where, take like a guy like Don McLean. Technically, he's he's an American treasure.
The only thing people know is American Pie.
American Pie. It's his hit. But he had country albums. This is a great artist. But technically call him a one-hit wonder, right?
Right.
Of course, that's the hit he had, was defining of an entire era. But little thing.
If you're gonna have one hit,
you're gonna have one hit.
That's the one to have.
You're gonna have one hit. But and no offense to great Don.
No,
it still lives in Maine, I believe. But but these artists, like it'll get viral, and then like anything else, it's a flavor of the month. And all right, no more voice. It's like, what are you gonna do with it?
You know what else is funny is when you see things come around again.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody when I was a kid. That was huge.
Huge. But it wasn't as big of a hit.
Then when my kids were growing up, they saw Wayne's World.
And it was bigger than.
Like, Dad, you got to hear this song. Yep. This is great. And they play it. I'm like, I grew up with this song.
Right.
I know this song.
That's an oldie.
Then
the movie
Bohemian Rhapsody, and all these kids around us, I play Bohemian Rhapsody. And I'm like, okay, I watched this song reinvent itself 7 times.
That's right. And now if it's not the most downloaded song of all time, it's right there. It was, remember, it didn't even chart when it was its first time. It was a hit, but it never even charted.
Tied with Baby Shark. I think that's Baby
But now
Shark.
4 billion downloads of that song, which is crazy. And and again, it never
was a song that never really. Nobody actually thought it would succeed.
The kids now see the movie and they hear the story of it, but this is an old story. Is that it just because it was long play? It was like a mini opera, and they're like, this isn't gonna, what are you gonna do with this thing? And they stuck to their guns. They got it out there, and it was successful.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like a number one hit. And then Wayne's World came out and it hit number 1. And then the movie came out and went back, and all their albums went back on the charts. It's like the crazy thing. You have like a Beatles thing that comes out, all of a sudden, all the records are back on the charts.
Yeah.
It's
imagine
crazy.
if Freddie was still with us. Wow.
Look, I've said this, and I mean this with all sincerity. And God bless the Swifties. She's a good kid and writes her own stuff, and I don't connect to it.
No,
but she connects with a lot of people. She's great. But I've always said, this is my comparison. I said, look, I would trade her entire career for another 8 seconds of Freddie Mercury. Yeah. Give me 1 bar, Freddie.
I'm like you. I give her all the credit in the world.
100%. Love you, Taylor. Don't diss you.
Some of her songs, I don't even mind listening to it because I DJ things and I end up playing a lot of her stuff. Yeah. I don't even mind listening to it, but it's just not my thing. It's not like I'm going to go out of my way.
My thing. I don't connect.
I'm not going to go out of my way to if she was on fire, I wouldn't probably put her out. But no, I would.
We'd put you right out. We would take care of you. You know what? I tell you the truth.
But I wouldn't go to her concert. But
now, I'll say this.
I appreciate it.
And after this tour, where she's now a billionaire because of that tour, and by the way, hats off to her for bringing back accessible tours again. She did the same thing. Oh, don't be wrong. There were $1 zillion tickets for it. They're going to be, but she was able to get fans in there. I know she disappointed some in Europe because of security, but these are things that happen in this modern age. But how she was able to do these shows, she literally changed the economies of some cities and countries she was in. God bless her. That's amazing.
She performs with gratitude.
Absolutely. And she puts on a heck of a show.
And it's like, one of the things I used to go see Grateful Dead. And I went because my wife, God rest her soul, was a big fan, and I took her. And they weren't playing any of the top hits that like the St. Stephen's, Casey Jones.
They didn't really have any hits.
They wouldn't play any of those.
No.
And they're like, and they, people would say St. Stephen, and Jerry would say into the microphone, if you want to hear that, buy the album. They would just sit there and just play. And it's like, you're there for us. We paid so that we can hear you perform the songs we love. Not for you to just stand up there and, it's the last time I felt ripped off like that is when I went to Tony Robbins. And I listened to Tony Robbins, and he would get you knee deep into a conversation and say, if you want more, buy my extra course. Stop it.
I just bought it.
Just play the songs. And that's why I appreciated bands like Queen, bands like
Kiss.
You
go to a Kiss
bands
show,
like
Aerosmith
and Rolling Stones. They don't ignore their hits. They play them because that's what got them where they are.
Well, it's funny, and Bono used to say this too, because Where the Streets Have No Name is like their biggest hit. I mean, they've been they're the last of the great big giant acts, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And maybe Foo Fighters came along, but Foo Fighters been around for 30 some odd years now. So you got to think about that. We don't have any big new bands anymore.
We really don't. I mean, we've got bands like Maroon 5 that have been around for
But they've been
a
around for
while.
30 years.
Yeah, but they don't have the same impact.
No, like a global superstar band.
No.
I mean, it used to be you would go see band after band, like they had a tour of just bands,
No,
right?
These are rock gods
Right,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you think I'm looking at Mr. Van Halen right here, right?
Oh.
And remember Monsters of Rock? Monsters of Rock was Van Halen, Metallica, Ozzy, Dokken. I mean, you had
Kiss.
Kiss would generally Kiss would be the headliner, right? But
Yeah.
But Kiss, I mean, think of Kiss, and people are crapping on Kiss for the last of their tour. They're like, Paul Stanley had a backing track. It's like, and who doesn't in that day and age? You know, I mean, it's like, give me a break. You're there to watch Gene Simmons breathe fire and fly around and things explode, and it's Kiss show. I'm still in the Kiss army.
Not a better show on the planet.
So, you know, and I was in the Kiss army, and I never got to see Kiss.
You never saw him? I saw him 4 times. I'll give you one of mine.
Love Kiss.
It's like, here's my experience. But, we're going to run out of time, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Just about, why are we talking about all this? We're talking about all this because we find joy in things like music. We find joy in things like art. We find joy in things like getting together, playing, being outdoors, all that, whatever it is.
Feel our connection.
Connect to your childhood and think about the things that brought you joy. And it was always about running around, playing, being loud,
probably something
people.
Unsafe in a safe way.
Yeah, sliding in the rain. I mean, next time it's raining, it's in Florida, so you only got to wait 5 minutes. Next time it rains, go outside and slide on the grass for the hell of it. You know, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And you come back in and okay, yeah, you got grass stains on your pants, you got to clean up, but I want you to really experience it once. If you haven't done it, just do it. You're going to be amazed at what you're going to find inside here when you do that. But I want to ask you, concerts.
Yeah.
You've been to a ton. So
been to a lot.
Number one, best concert that you ever saw, and I know that's hard, and biggest disappointment ever.
Best concert. Best. Prince.
I am so jealous. See, I got Kiss.
No,
you got Prince. I didn't get Prince.
Best concert, Prince. There was nobody like Prince. Best show. I mean, I saw McCartney a bunch of times, but that was amazing. He's always put on a great show. Billy Joel, a great show. But like iconic and like I can't believe I'm hearing this. Prince was right there. Bowie. And Stevie Wonder. Wow. But I'll say this: I saw Bob Dylan many times, and I always got him on a good night. And I've seen Bob Dylan play lead guitar, and it's amazing.
All right, let me give you my best.
Okay, best and most disappointing.
Well, wait, hold on to your disappointing.
Okay.
Let me do my best because compared to yours. So Kiss, best show, just always. But best concert, I'm kind of wrapped up between two. One was Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire together.
Wow. Think of the horns.
With Peter Cetera. All the way back. The other, Elton John and Billy Joel.
Wow. Yeah, I never got I got to Billy Joel. I never saw Elton John.
And an honorable mention, the 25th anniversary of the Monkees.
I bet that was a great show.
It was the Monkees, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, Hermits, and the Grassroots traveling together.
What a show.
It was a show, and I saw it in a theater that was about 2,500 seats.
Oh.
And it was just
all great songs. That's a hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
After hit after hit.
That's a jukebox.
Peter Noon's explaining how they used to shove socks into guitars to get a certain sound.
Peter Noon.
And he turns around and his guitar sheepishly pulls a sock
out of it. It's got the shtick.
Yeah, Mickey Dolenz comes out with the Monkees, got a big stick of TNT, and he blows up one of the amps. Just having fun, but it reminded me about the fun of music. But I'll tell you, Billy Joel and Elton John together.
Yeah, get out of town.
They could not play a song you didn't know.
Right.
It was impossible. Every song they play,
And two of the greatest percussionists, because they like to say their pianos were drummers.
Oh yeah,
they're like these are percussion instruments.
And there was a couple songs they did together where they would be two pianos together, and you're watching these two. Just holy cow!
Yeah.
All right, worst.
Interestingly, one of the worst shows I ever saw. I was glad I was there. They were playing good, but I just got, it was Grateful Dead. And I'll tell you why.
I'll agree with that.
It was for the music, and I like Grateful Dead music. I respect their musicianship. I love a lot of their music. It wound up being, I was on no substances, and I was just there going, these are just both. And at that time, I hate to say it, I went because I wanted to see it before Jerry either died, right? He wasn't well. He died the next summer. I saw him he died in 95. This was 94. I saw him.
That was the same year I saw him in the Philly.
And it was it was like the second night in Cleveland. This was like a legendary show. They played great, but the crowd.
Bruce Hornsby on piano.
Yeah. And but what got me was he was holding together.
Yeah.
And Bill and Phil always played great. Always had tight there, but the crowd was so indulgent, like they weren't paying attention. It was like you're seeing this great musical thing and no one's paying attention to the crowd. They're so messed up and into their own stuff. Like, it's like, I can't. I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this.
I think that was one of my disappointments, but
the band didn't disappoint.
But I wasn't disappointed as much only because I didn't have that high of an expectation.
Right.
Foghat was my biggest disappointment.
I gotta tell you about Foghat.
Expectation about Foghat. The cool thing was we had Blue Sky, Green Grass and Blue Tides.
Outlaws.
The Outlaws came out first.
That's the only song you need.
We're in Syracuse, New York, and Rick Kua was the bass player at the time, and he's from Syracuse.
Yeah.
So, and a couple of my friends, we knew who he was, and so he's in Outlaws, and so they gave him the key to the city.
Oh,
it was so cool. So they came out and they played for like an hour for a warm up,
and that was just Green Grass. That was just Green Grass and High Times. They played that for an hour and a half. Yeah.
Foghat comes out and they play. The second song they played was Slow Ride, which was the only song people came for.
Right.
After that, people started booing. They got to 4 songs and they walked off the stage. The Outlaws came back out. I love this. They came back out and they said, "Do you mind if we play a little bit more?"
People went crazy.
2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours. And that's when they did the extended version of Green Grass and High Times.
So you were there for another day and a half.
Oh, that was The extended version was just like, hey, let's just keep going. Let's slow it down. We're gonna end. No, we're not. Now we're back.
And it slows down, and you just go right. We used to play it in the band, and you could just jam on that forever.
And then they played Ghost Riders in the Sky twice.
Oh, nice.
It was just such a cool thing. But Foghat was such a disappointment. I'm thinking, like, how would you do that?
Yeah.
I was also highly disappointed with Pink Floyd.
I never got to see Floyd.
It was boring.
Yeah.
I'm used to energy.
Yeah.
Floyd is about sound.
Yeah.
It was the best sounding concert I ever went to.
Well, that's why the sound tours.
Nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And their sound. That's Gilmore. Those guys. That's all they cared about was the perfect.
But you're probably sleeping 45 minutes into it.
Yeah. Because it's so relaxing. It envelops you, but it's not exciting.
Right.
I like people jumping around the stage, and I like people having fun and stuff. And So what's your favorites? Hey, put it in the comments. What is the best concert you ever saw?
Best and most disappointing. We're not gonna say the war. Like, what's the one who didn't meet your expectations?
Disappointed you.
Didn't meet your expectations. I feel bad for people now because you pay so much that you have expectations because of that too.
I'm going to tell you right now, for our friends here in South Florida, wherever you're listening, I'm sure you have this too. But in South Florida, we've got a plethora of very talented musicians.
Yes.
And great cover bands.
Great ones.
Great cover bands.
You have Al Johnson and the Usual Suspects.
And what do they play?
We play amazing music.
Yeah. But we've got Beatles tribute bands. There's 4 or 5 of them down here.
There's a Billy Joel tribute act. There's a Def Leppard tribute act. There's the U.S. Stones tribute act.
The Turnstiles is the Billy Joel tribute act. And, we've got the Eagles tribute, the Long Run. We've got a bunch of them. Aerosmith tributes.
You also have musicians. You also have the musicians that were in the big bands. I remember this up at it was Three Forks up in Palm Beach Gardens. Their Saturday Night Entertainment. What was his name? He was the keyboard player for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He's just gigging. Wow. There was a band that was touring around here, did a lot of events. The guitarist was Casey and the Sunshine Band's original guitarist.
Wow.
So I mean, Casey's from here. He's from Florida.
Yeah, and he
plays here all the time.
He plays
and still jams.
By the way, he's gained a lot of weight. They now go by KFC in the Sunshine Band.
I hate to say it, he's looked like that since '78. But Go see Casey and the Sunshine Band if you can. He's still.
I've seen them.
But they're
about 3 years ago. They're
amazing
fantastic.
show.
I would see them every
show.
year if they
come back. Yeah, amazing show.
If they come back, let's get some tickets.
Let's do it.
People together. Let's bring a bunch of people.
And they play. Here's the thing. I'm not a gambler. I don't go to casinos, but we're fortunate to have them because all the bands that come and play.
Yeah.
You're always looking at like, oh my gosh, they're going to be here and they're always going to be around.
But don't turn down the street fairs and stuff.
Oh,
because I went to the Seafood
stuff.
Fest in Pompano about 6 years ago, and out on the beach they had the main stage, and they had young bands, and, kids and everything. Main stage, the Guess Who was there.
Oh, one of the greatest.
And it was a free thing. I sat on the beach with a 2-hour concert with the Guess Who, sang every song, nailed every part, most of the original members there.
Yeah.
And just killed it.
Randy Bachman and everybody.
I got I'm eating a lobster roll on the beach watching this thing.
Watching Guess Who, which is, by the way, Guess Who, and which became Bachman Turner Overdrive. So you have like hit after hit after hit after hit. I saw Buddy Guy.
Oh,
I've seen him 3 times, but this was one time, the last time I saw him, and God, Buddy's still with us. He's in his 90s now, I think. I saw him at the Garlic Festival in Delray. I'm in this tent. I'm like, this is Buddy Guy. Yeah. This is Buddy Guy. Yeah. I'm eating a garlic pizza with Buddy Guy.
Vampire Weekend was supposed to play the Garlic Festival, but something went wrong.
Hey-oh! Speaking of that, though, random, like we have these amphitheaters around here, like these county park amphitheaters. I saw Cake, the band Cake,
all right,
at Boca Sunset. I saw 30 Seconds to Mars at Sunset in Boca. I mean, these are it's like you're going to the park. I'll go on the swing set. Oh, it's Jared Leto. Hey, it was unreal.
My friend, a friend of mine, Marty Sexton, and he's a bluegrass musician, blues musician, this and that. He travels around the country, but I knew him 42 years ago when we both first got sober, and he was part of my group. Karen knows him, and he was my best bud, and kind of moved on and went our own ways. And next thing you know, I'm watching this video of John Mayer in concert. And he goes, Marty, bring out my friend, and he brought Marty out, and they played together for a while. And every once in a while, he'll pop up at the Boca Schoolhouse.
Yep.
And do a concert there and stuff. Music just brings people together. Grab a bunch of people. It's not the way it used to be. Now, back when I was getting sober the first time, I couldn't go to concerts because you get a contact high walking through the door.
Yeah.
They're not doing that anymore. People are having sober tailgate parties. Mm-hmm. Bring enough people along. Once you're inside the venues, they're not letting people. Every once in a while, you're going to smell somebody who smells like pot.
All right.
Get over it. Just chew some juicy fruit.
The other thing is too, it's like people used to get wasted, like, oh, it's a waste of the show. It's like you just went to see this artist, you remember nothing about it.
Yeah.
What a waste of your time, and and I always thought it was just disrespectful to the artist.
Yeah.
It's like they're here coming to your town. When is that going to happen again? And you're going to not even remember it.
Yeah, I missed the Foreigner concert because I got the first couple songs on the Foreigner concert, and then it was next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in jail and I have no idea what happened or anything like that. Apparently, bad trip.
Yeah,
had a bad trip, and I'm sorry, but I probably spent $5 on that ticket or $10 on that
exactly.
ticket. These days, you got to take a second mortgage on your home to get decent seats for any concert.
Look, I wanted to see McCartney when he came back. He played Hard Rock at the New Theater when he did it. I was like, oh, let's go see McCartney. And it was $1,500 a ticket. I was like, that's gonna happen. I mean, how can you do it?
Guys, we have run into our last minute. We've got to finish up the
show.
Oh my
gosh.
If we don't, we're going to go over
We'll do this.
time.
We'll do this all day.
We will do this all day. But you've been watching Far Beyond. I want to thank everybody for joining in. Remember to attend some of these things we talked about for Recovery Month. We'll be back in a week or two.
Yes,
and
we'll go over the list again, but get out there. Please check your websites. Check all your usual things. Check with Sephora. Check with FARR. Check with the Hub. Check with our Friends of Fellowship. Go on the websites. Look at it. Palm Beach County Community Services has a calendar of all the Recovery Month events. Broward County, our friends down here in Broward County. If you're in Brevard County, Brevard Fest is coming right up. If you're over on the West Coast, our friends over in Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, Manatee, Orange County, way up in Jacksonville, wherever you're at, don't forget about our Space Coast friends as well. But wherever you are in Florida, there's something going on.
Remember, smash that like button. Thanks for joining us right here at Far and Beyond. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.